everyone. Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. Joining me for today's show is Morgan. AMA nominations are out. BTS has been nominated for Tour of the Year, Favorite Social Artist, and Favorite Duo or Group. And of course, they're a group. And some people are upset that they are not nominated for other categories, just the very minimal categories that they qualify for. I don't know if that's a controversy or not, but people think they should have been nominated for more categories.
What are the categories?
There's Artist of the Year that they could have been nominated for, Collab of the Year, which they could have been nominated for Boy With Love or Chicken Noodle Soup, but I don't know what the time span is, so maybe not Chicken Noodle Soup because since that just happened.
Well, my view on music awards is that they're totally irrelevant. I don't think, I can't speak for them. Do artists still care about them? I guess some do. Some do. I can't imagine why they do though. It seems so pointless to me. So pointless.
I do agree that fans should not care about American nominations because a lot of these are just rigged. They're just like the company has bribed somebody and they're going to be nominated. Their groups are going to be nominated for whatever. And, it's very hard for a foreign group to be,
it just seems very pointless to me.
Yeah, to get in there honestly. And if they're not nominated for AMAs, it's like, okay, well, whatever. Who cares? That doesn't mean anything.
Maybe it's not a perfect analogy, but if you're male and you grew up liking, you're a heterosexual male and grew up liking, women, like in media, right? Like you thought, oh, so-and-so, so hot, whatever, right? And you watched this actress's movies or whatever. Did you care whether she made such and such list of hottest actresses of whatever year, or she was number 10, or she was number 25? What difference does that make? How does that impact your ability to consume media with that person in it, right? You can love that person, you can like that person, you can consume that person's product as much as you like. It just makes no difference whatsoever whether or not this arbitrary, and let's be real, these lists are fairly arbitrary. And when they're not arbitrary, they are not based on merit. When they're not arbitrary, I feel like they're based on, whether your label bribed the right people, etc., right? Whether it's in the self-interest of the show, the awards show, to have certain people on, that's why they'll give out certain awards. Now, maybe there's some exceptions. Maybe the Grammys still thinks it has integrity. I don't even know. I haven't seen the Grammys in many years. But who cares? The point is it doesn't impact your ability to consume the product that you want to consume. It doesn't impact the success of the people you want to be successful. It's irrelevant. It's not like sports, right? Like if you have a favorite sports team and the league screws them over in some official way, like they screw over their draft position, or the referees giving bad calls or something. Some people with power don't give them their due. It really hurts. It actually impacts their ability to win. It actually impacts them. But does anybody honestly think BTS will sell less records, get less fans, be of a lower stature in global pop culture because, I don't know, the AMAs says something one way or the other? No. In fact, the AMAs are dumb because it's in their self-interest to just put BTS in as many categories as possible, just so they are almost forced to come appear on this show, which will undoubtedly improve their ratings.
Yes.
Right? And then maybe they'll say, oh, we're nominated for so many things, maybe we should also perform. Those will also increase the ratings of the AMAs. I don't know what the ratings are. They can't be very good. TV ratings are not good in general these days. So it's dumb on their part.
Yeah. There's so many award shows in America, and there's so many. It's like.
And the AMAs is definitely not at the top of this list. Okay, it's the Grammys.
Yeah.
And then the VMAs. I don't remember that the AMAs exist until people tell me the day after they actually happen.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, did you watch the AMAs? No. What the hell are the AMAs? Oh, that's right. They're the other award show. Like maybe you'll YouTube the notable performance if there is one.
I just feel like they're not in tune with what's going on. If they don't have BTS nominated in these other categories besides the ones that they are nominated in, because it seems like they should be at least in the running.
I'm not going to argue the merit. I don't even know the other people who are nominated. Maybe the other people who are nominated made much better music than BTS. I'm totally open to that possibility. But let's face it, at this point, the quality of the music, the merit of it, that has very little to do with who's nominated, etc., etc. This isn't a meritocracy. It's a business, right? It's just an awards show that wants to get ratings, that wants to continue being an awards show, that wants to be relevant. And they probably shot themselves in the foot by not putting if not the biggest, one of the biggest music acts all over their agenda.
I do think
they should have just done that just out of self-interest, not even because BTS deserves it, just out of pure self-interest.
I think there is a blind spot in America for BTS because not everybody is aware of how prominent they are.
Right. Probably there's decision makers who still haven't caught on to K-pop and how important it is in current pop culture, because it's generally young people, So the people who are making decisions for awards shows and things like that in these organizations, let's face it, are older, are generally American, so they probably do have a big blind spot when it comes to K-pop. Yeah. They definitely do. And so I don't think that people should be offended. Like, if you're a fan of BTS, you shouldn't be offended that they're missing out on these things. Because if these people were aware of the influence that BTS had, they would put them on.
Yeah.
And not even because they deserve it. Again, like I said, purely out of self-interest. But that's the way it's always been. So there's nothing wrong with that system. It's the AMAs, it doesn't matter. It really isn't. It's not an important thing. It's really just an entertainment show that happens once a year. And they should put BTS on because they're entertaining and they get eyeballs. But they're just not smart enough to do that. So really, it's their loss. There's no reason to complain about it or resent them. It's their loss.
Yeah, I don't take it as a racism thing. I think they're
Are some people saying it's racist? Oh,
yeah.
I never thought
a lot
of
of people think that that's the reason.
No, I don't think that's that
but
at all.
They're still nominated for a couple of categories.
I think it's just a blind spot.
Yeah, they're nominated for Tour of the Year, Favorite Social Artist, and Favorite Duo or Group.
No, I don't think that's the case.
I think that's good. Like, they're definitely qualified for those categories. They could have been nominated for a couple more, but it's the fact that I just think in America they're not as aware of BTS as the rest of the world.
It's not a racism thing.
It's just a lack of awareness.
No, that's a ridiculous assertion.
Yeah.
First of all, the music industry in America and the people who run it are generally pretty diverse and very open and very in favor of diversity.
Yes.
They have no problem with diversity.
Yes.
They are only thinking about putting forth a show that is successful and makes money. And you can say, well, putting more BTS in it would be successful. You're right. Just like I went into at length. It would. But you have to understand the people running the show are from an older generation and they just haven't caught on. They haven't caught on to the power of K-pop artists and how important. I don't want to say YouTube artists. They're people who are more known through YouTube. They're used to they're used to traditional
different
channels.
Mediums.
Yeah, they're used to traditional channels. They still probably put music on the radio, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're like, who has the most radio
When's
requests?
the last time you turned on the radio?
Most sales.
It's been years since I've turned on the radio.
Yeah, I never listen to the radio.
But they still probably care about the radio. That's how out of touch they are. So it's just it's not a matter of race. It's a matter of them being out of touch with how influential BTS is. If they really, maybe they read articles, sure. They look at some numbers, sure. But that's not the same as really feeling it and knowing it. I feel like if they really understood how influential K-pop and BTS are, then they would feature them more, just out of self-interest. It's not a race thing. It's an ignorance thing. Mm-hmm. And when I say ignorance, I'm not saying ignorant about race. I'm just saying ignorant about the realities of the current industry, the current music industry. That's what they're ignorant about. Yeah. If they knew more about it, they would feature them more purely out of self-interest.
Yeah. Like, here's what's they're looking at for collaboration of the year is like Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper for Shallow. It's like, that was like so long ago.
Well, these rules.
Yeah, I don't know the time
weird
span
always,
of
yeah.
it, but it was like, oh, that was like so long ago, it feels like. And Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus for Old Town Road.
Oh yeah, they'll win. Sure.
I feel like that is so known that should win.
That's why they win. Yeah.
And then, let's see, the other ones from this category that I know of, Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello for Senorita, but I don't think that song was super popular. I just feel like Old Town Road and Shallow were really popular, so that's going to be the ones that are like, okay, which one's going to win out of those two for collaboration of the year?
Billy Ray Cyrus. Still the best. Cyrus.
You know what? Like Lil Nas X,
After all these years.
he did so much out of one song. I'm like really impressed. He like had multiple remixes, and he had Billy Ray Cyrus on one of them. And
I'm not impressed. I'm really tired of it.
I
don't want to hear that song ever again.
Like Old Town Road, that's been like remixed so many times.
Yes.
I guess that needs an award if like remixed.
I don't have no problem
X
with him
number of
getting an
times.
award. I have no problem with him receiving awards. He deserves them. I just don't want to hear the song again.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that I've heard it enough for several lifetimes.
Okay, but collab of the year. Do you think Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus was the best thing, or do you think Boy With Love, like BTS with Halsey, was better?
I'm gonna have to go with Lil Nas X because it was more of a collaboration. I think Halsey was just sort of incidental to that song. She didn't seem very important to that song. So for that reason, we're talking about collaboration.
Yeah.
It wasn't as strong as a collaboration. Mm-hmm. You can like the song better. Mm-hmm. And I do like the song better. Like I said, I'm really tired of the Lil Nas X song. But I think it was a great collaboration. And also, I think that it was a great collaboration in that it was sort of across cultures. So
yes.
Not to say that, I guess the Halsey collaboration did in some ways as well. But again, she just seemed very incidental to that song.
Yeah,
The song really, if she wasn't in it, would it have suffered very much? I don't think so. So, but the Lil Nas X, Billy Ray Cyrus, it would suffer if it was just one of them. Mm-hmm. It really added a lot that it was both of them. So I do think that was a great collaboration. Even though at this point I do hate the song.
You just heard it so many times.
I can still acknowledge it was a great collaboration, great idea. It crossed a lot of... It just seems so stupid. It just seems so stupid, the idea that a rapper can't do a country song, but at the same time it was sort of controversial when it came out.
He should be able to do a country song.
You would think that, okay, that's
country
not
and
controversial.
rap. That's like, okay.
A rapper is doing a country song, so what? Big deal. But it actually, it was controversial at the time, so we have to acknowledge that and give them credit for going there, for breaking that ground.
Well, are there so few that it's like a big deal? Like, remember, like, Nelly is Southern, and he had rap, and
but the thing is, even though looking back, Nelly's material, you could say, wow, it did have a country twang to it, and I guess in some ways you could say it was quasi country music or whatever. Nobody ever tried to claim it was country music.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't at Country Music Awards or trying to be anything like that. So they didn't have to confront that. It was just played on rap stations. It was just treated as a rap song. And, Nelly is a black guy. So black guy making rap music is not a big deal. Nobody bats an eye. But as soon as a black guy is making country music, people... I'm not going to say they were angry or something. They just said, oh, maybe that's not country. And I'm not even going to say that's racist. It's just they're not used to it. Okay?
Yeah.
And so it was, and I don't want to use the word controversial. People were not ready for it necessarily. They weren't accepting of it immediately. They said, no, that's not real country. They didn't hate him. I don't think people looked at Lil Nas X and said, we hate this guy. Let's do something to him. Let's lynch him or something. Mm-hmm. No, there wasn't. I don't think it was racism. I just think that they didn't accept it as country music.
Mm-hmm.
And he insisted that it was. Nelly never insisted his music was country music. He just said it's rap music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But this, they put it forth as country music. And I listened to it. It sounds like country music to me. Okay? And once Billy Ray Cyrus co-signed on it and said, hey, we're going to do it together. It's a country song. They just sort of had to accept that. Yeah. So in that way, it was groundbreaking. And for those reasons, it is a better collaboration than BTS, because the BTS song is just it's a pleasant pop song, yes, with or without Halsey.
Yes. Right.
Her contribution didn't mean that much.
Yeah, she admits that she was added on, and the song existed already, and she recorded her part, and that was added on, and it was great. And either or,
she did a good job, and it was great, but it was not. It's just not collaboration wise. It's not as important as Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus. Still the best Cyrus.
Yeah, I do think that was a really viral song, and that was like, everybody heard that, and it was like rap and country. That's a huge, crossing the line, groundbreaker kind of thing. So I feel like that probably will win. So that's fine. I'm not bitter about that. It's fine.
Who cares?
Yeah.
This reward doesn't mean
You know
anything.
what? Yeah, award shows are most of them. Okay, in America, I don't know if you know this, but most of them are rigged. There's just like who bribed who gave enough money to who, and it's all marketing. It's like they gave money to whoever, and that's why we won or not.
The bottom line, if you're a BTS stan out there and you get worked up over this because they didn't respect our boys for the quality of work they do, and this, that, and the other, just remember it doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
It doesn't matter.
Don't think about it. Don't even have another thought.
It's not like who got into the Harvard or the university of their choice or whatever. It's just not. It's not even purporting to be. Yeah. Well, it's purporting to be a merit-based thing, right? But everybody in the know knows it has nothing to do with merit. It just has to do with putting on a good show and the interest of that organization that is giving out the awards. That's all it has to do with.
Yeah.
Don't feel slighted. Don't feel like... I do notice that K-pop stans do this a lot. They get worked up over this type of thing, and it's just it's self-defeating. It's futile. It's pointless. Don't do it. Yeah. Trust me, it doesn't mean anything.
For sure. Don't feel depressed if they lose a category, they lose an award. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
Especially American categories. It's like, okay, there's somebody's company paid whatever. Right. You don't know who won, really.
Right. The only award show left that still is sort of legitimate in this sense is the Oscars.
Yes,
because they have a lot of industry voters.
No, here's what you can trust is if there's an accounting company and it's like, oh, this is monitored by so and so accounting.
If there's no accounting company, all the awards are bought and paid for.
Yes.
They're all bought and paid for. It doesn't matter.
You can still trust the Oscars because they have an accounting company, and
if you have an award show, but if you have an award show. Let's put it this way. Let's say there's an award show and one person wins every last award during the award show. Is that person the winner of the show? No. You know who the real winner of the show is? Whoever the show decides to have perform in the primetime slots, like at the beginning and I don't know, the end or whatever. Those are the winners because the real value of the show is the entertainment it brings. It's not who wins the actual hardware. Hardware means nothing. I bet you anything that the people who win these awards, they don't even display them in their own homes.
Yeah.
I bet you anything that, let's say Taylor Swift has won a bunch of AMAs. They're probably sitting in a bathroom. One of her many bathrooms. One of her 15 bathrooms, she probably puts these AMAs in.
She has 9 homes.
Her Grammys might have an actual shelf, but AMAs... they probably go in a bathroom.
Yeah.
So just remember that when you get worked up, whether or not BTS wins an AMA. Jesus.
Yeah. Yes.
I know some people are butthurt over it.
No, yeah. Some people are angry,
Well, if you're a BTS fan and you're angry about it, well, here's the good news. The good news is it doesn't matter. The bad news is you're angry about something pointless.
Yes.
So just get over it. It really, really, really does not matter. Imagine like a 5-year-old scribbled on a piece of paper, their favorite bands, and you like barged in and you like elbowed them, or you put your shoulder into them and said, "Hey, you dumb kid, you're wrong about your preferred bands. You're wrong. You're wrong. BTS is better." Listen to you. Just let this kid write whatever he wants on his piece of paper, right? Because, I mean, oh my God, I was going to say literally. I need to stop. Because it matters about as much as anything else, as the AMAs. The AMAs is just some old, out-of-touch people writing on a piece of paper, not even their favorite stuff, just whatever they think is will be of self-serving interest to the production. Now, you can say they're wrong, that nominating BTS would be of self-serving interest. I agree with you. You're right. But remember, they're old and out of touch. They just haven't caught on to that yet. But BTS, they're not robbed of anything. Trust me. Trust me. Let's just put it this way. The many V Lives and live streams and things that BTS, they do, none of them that I watch, but I know that they do these things, right? Where they, I don't know, what do? They play League of Legends, or they eat food.
Yes.
They do stuff like that, right? Okay, stuff that I never want to watch. I don't know why you guys want to watch it, but whatever. That's your life. Millions of people watch that. Millions of people. You know how many millions? More millions than watch the AMAs. And then more people watch, I don't know, J-Hope eat sushi or whatever.
Yeah, eat Jin.
Right.
Jin is eating something.
Right.
That
More
gets
people watch that than the AMAs.
Yes.
So it's their loss, is what I'm trying to say. It's their loss. Why are you? There's no reason to resent people who are they themselves are losing by not including BTS, right? They should include them.
I will say America is in general out of touch with things that are very current, things that are very popular. They're out of touch with it.
And then if they did include them, people would say they're trying to, piggyback on that clout, right?
Yeah.
Like they're chasing clout.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no winning, but if I were running the AMAs, I would try to include BTS as much as possible because I know how popular they are. BTS members eating food will get more views than my awards show. That's the reality in 2019. It sounds so weird. I'm not even sure I'm comfortable with it myself, but it is objective reality. And some people just haven't caught up to that. And instead of feeling angry about it, you should just feel sorry for them, and you should feel proud. I don't think you should feel proud. No, I'll take that back. You should take comfort in the fact that BTS fans in their numbers have such power that they can make a guy eating food more watched than this awards show that costs millions of dollars and has years and years of history behind it, right? And many, many staff running it. You guys have more power than that.
Yeah.
So you should take comfort in that. I don't think you should feel proud because all you did was go watch a video. But you should definitely not feel resentment.
Yeah.
There's no need to resent people who are running an old-fashioned TV show that's out of touch and that doesn't respect your people enough, right? It would be like if I was a rich and famous actor or just a rich, good-looking, famous person, and I was walking down the street and a homeless person didn't know who I was and then pointed at me and laughed at me, or I don't know, didn't give me the respect that I feel like I deserve as a rich and famous person that's good at whatever I do. How ridiculous would that be? That would be ridiculous because you have all the power. You right now, going forward in 2019, you have all the juice. You have all the power. You are the future. Like, this is where the industry is going. Those people are the past. You should just feel, if not sorry for them, you should just ignore them. If there's a homeless person on the street that laughs at me or thinks that I'm not good enough or something, right? What would I do? Would I go home and say, God damn that guy, why doesn't he respect what I do and who I am and what I contribute, right? Why doesn't that homeless guy respect what I do and what I contribute, and I do this, and I've sold this many records and I get this many YouTube views, and why doesn't he know that? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't be upset about it.
I would just say, oh, that's too bad for that guy. I feel bad for you, man. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for you. I really feel bad for you because you're living in the past and, you're not doing so well these days. I mean, I don't want to say the people who run the AMAs are homeless. They're not. But just like comparatively, business-wise, they're the past. Their business is declining, whereas new model businesses that, I don't know, are built around live streams of people eating food or doing whatnot on their whatever, those are ascending, and you guys are part of that. So there is no reason to feel resentment towards people from this old model, people who don't understand the power and the clout of BTS, of people who exist in this new model. You should just appreciate that you are you are the new ascending way of business, way of thought, way of doing, and just ride it and just enjoy it.
I just feel like certain nominations, certain award shows, they're just behind. They're running however many months behind of what's current.
Months? Years.
Yeah, months and years. But you can't feel negative about it. It's just time. It's just they're going to catch up at some. A 75-year-old voter of the AMAs is not going to know about Boy With Love. They didn't see the video.
Right.
They have no idea who BTS is. They don't know that there's Kpop. There's a lot of things they're not in tune with.
Right. And not to be morbid, but they will die. Right? They're going to die soon, probably. And then, the cycle continues. You'll like K-pop and something, and in some amount of years, your kids will like something new.
The next
that
voters
will supplant your stuff.
They will see the newer things.
You won't understand what this new thing is, and you'll feel old. Sorry.
Yeah, I just can't.
Everybody at some point goes through that and then dies. Sorry.
I just can't feel angry about it. It's just nominations, especially in America. Like a lot of things are just politics, so you can't really feel any way about it. No. It doesn't matter. It's whatever happens. That's fine. That's who paid for it.
And I can understand on one level that. Your stand, you feel proud. So when your group doesn't get an award nomination or something, that injures your pride. But just like when I walk down the street and a homeless person criticizes something about me, it doesn't injure my pride, right? You have to understand the source, right? Is the source relevant? Is the source an expert? Is the source
reliable?
Right. What influence, what relevance does the source have?
I think
and it doesn't have very much.
A lot of K-pop stans are used to the award shows that are in Korea, which they probably are very reliable and like, it's accurate who voted for what. But you like Mama and the other award shows. But that's not the same thing in America. It's like whoever pays for influence, they get influence. That it's totally different.
Okay, and I don't know anything about the award shows in Korea, so maybe we're even wrong about that.
I'm assuming it's more accurate. It's more like, if everybody supports this video or
You're assuming?
Song,
that might be a big assumption, though.
I don't know, but it seems like they feel like merit is more calculated.
The AMAs certainly are not that. The AMAs are just a show put on TV.
It's just another show.
It's just a show put on TV. And the real winners are whoever gets a good performance during the AMAs and they get exposure. That's it. The winners of awards don't really win anything.
There was an interview where Gus Van Sant, who was the director of movies, of things such as like Good Will Hunting and My Own Private Idaho, and what else are you going to mention?
The remake of Hitchcock.
Oh yeah, the Psycho remake.
Oh my God! I'm revealing how much of a film buff I am.
That wasn't good.
He made a shot. Okay, no, it wasn't good.
It was it's the same thing as.
I'm just proud that I was able to name him as
Gus Van Sant.
I knew that he did that.
Yes.
I didn't Google that. I said that immediately.
I did not tell you the topics ahead of time.
No.
So this is all spontaneous.
I remember that it had oh gosh, it was bad. It was so bad.
The one that had Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, had Vince Vaughn
and Heish.
It wasn't just bad.
Oh my God.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, why do it if it's the same exact thing?
It was like every single second of it.
It was like, why?
You could just feel the money being wasted. You could just feel like, okay, I just know that money is being spent right now for what I'm watching on screen right now. Like production crew, et cetera, the costs, the salaries for the actors, the director, whatever. All of that was just felt so unnecessary because there was nothing. I don't know.
No,
there was nothing about the film that needed to be remade. And this is probably too old school for most K-pop fans. But Psycho was an old movie back in the 60s.
In the 60s, yes.
Something. It was a classic movie by a famous seminal director named Alfred Hitchcock. And it established a great many things in cinematic tradition. And when they remade it, they remade it shot for shot, which I don't know if you understand this. It just means it's not adding anything.
Yeah,
right. It's not adding anything except color.
You do the same exact thing,
right?
Just different actors,
right?
And with color. That's what that means.
When you do a remake, usually at least you'll update something that makes it more relevant for the times.
It's like,
and people will say,
that means it's 2019. It's
right?
Like that's more relevant.
You're offering something different, but they made a point. And this wasn't just them being lazy. They made a point, like it was a selling point. They said it's going to be a shot for shot remake, and I just didn't understand the point of well, what is the point of that? Because shot for shot, you're not offering anything new, and everything you're offering is inferior to the original. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not one of those people who always just defaults to the original is always better. No, absolutely not. The original is not always better. In fact, oftentimes it is not better.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was very, very bad and very, very pointless. And it was almost like a capitulation to its pointlessness. Because when they said it's just going to be a shot-for-shot remake, well, what is the point then? What are you going to add to it? Nothing. When you say it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake, you are essentially saying from the get-go that you are not adding anything to it. Anyway, that's an old history lesson. It's at least 50 years old now. But that's what I know about Gus Van Sant. Continue. What did Gus Van Sant do?
No, it's like, that was pointless. His Psycho remake was kind of pointless because it was the same exact thing. And he also directed Good Will Hunting. That's what most people know him
that was
for.
Okay movie. I mean, I didn't like it, but a lot of people liked it.
I feel like it was kind of overrated. It was just like...
Continue, though. I'm not going to say bad things about it. A lot of people liked it.
Well, he did an interview recently where...
This is not a movie talk.
Yeah. He did.
A lot of people liked it.
He did an interview, and then he said, I'm going to just read the quote. Is there one actor you wish you could have worked with? And then he says, he's not really an actor, but sometimes I see people that kind of have a peaceful thing about them that I like. And right now, that person would be Jimin from BTS. I'd photograph him too,
really?
But maybe that's something for the future. Like he said that in an interview.
I feel like Gus Van Sant has like a sexual thing for him. It kind of sounds like he's like an old guy. I'm sorry, that's like my first reaction.
That was my reaction.
It just feels like
my reaction.
It just feels like maybe he has a thing for him.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh my god, that's weird. Why would he say that?
Because, I mean, I don't mean to offend anybody, but Jimin doesn't strike me as a great actor or anything.
He's not even an actor.
He's not an actor.
He's a singer.
And then when he says this thing about how he has a peaceful thing about him, I don't see that either. I just think that it just feels to me like Gus Van Sant is sexually attracted to him.
Oh my god!
Is that what you thought too?
Thank you.
It just feels like that to me.
No, but on Twitter, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's so great! This Hollywood director thinks Jimin is so awesome."
Why does he think he? Yeah, well, why?
You know what? I was like,
but there's no cause.
Why is he saying this? This is so weird.
I don't.
He's not an actor. He's not a model.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a good actor.
Yeah,
but that he hasn't done anything for a legitimate Hollywood director to say, "Oh yeah, you would be a great." There's nothing except I think maybe he's just attracted to him. Which is, I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both adults. There's nothing wrong with one adult being attracted to another adult.
Yes.
That's okay with me, but I don't think this has anything to do with Jimin being a great actor. And this is so weird because Gus Van Sant is an established director, so he has worked with legitimate actors, and he's been in the industry, so he's not only worked with legitimate actors, he's very familiar with a whole range of great actors. So for him to say this is just weird. It's very weird.
No, for me, I was just totally
he a K-pop fan?
like creeped out. He's never once mentioned, "Oh, I like
This
K-pop."
guy's like 7 years old, isn't he?
He's very old. He's an old white guy, and he's Hollywood. It's for me. I was like, why is he even saying that? He's never said he's a K-pop fan or a BTS fan. So to me, this is very weird. And
I don't think he's chasing clout because it's not like he's looking for social media clicks.
Probably not.
No, I don't think he is. He's not.
I was
he
just
didn't
like,
say it on social media.
I was just like,
He said it in an interview.
why is he even talking about BTS? He makes movies.
It feels to me like he is attracted.
Yeah.
In a sexual way.
He said like, "Oh, I want to photograph Jimin." It's like, "Oh, okay, get in line." Like, I want to photograph Jimin.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who looks at Jimin wants to photograph him. Like,
I don't want to.
No, but like anybody who like looks at him and thinks he's attractive, it's like, "Oh, yeah, I want to take a photograph." You know what? Like anybody can want that, and anybody thinks they can photograph him. It's like I learned from America's Next Top Model. Like, all you have to do is take like 1,000 frames and then you get a good photograph. Like, there's no...
If you're good looking, you have to be somewhat good looking.
Yeah, but it's like, there's no super, like, skill to being a photographer. Like, no offense, but it's like, you just take...
did he just say you want to photograph him or film him in
If
something?
you take enough frames, you can get a good photograph.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Did you say you want to photograph him or film him in something?
Because he like photographs also as a hobby. Or
okay.
I don't know if he does that for real or not, but...
Okay.
It was just like, okay, you think you're important?
Yeah.
You're a Hollywood director. You think, oh, let me just mention this in an interview, and then, oh, maybe I can do it. It's like, who do you think you are? You're just like some
I'm not
Hollywood guy.
I don't resent him.
Big deal.
Okay. Well, I don't resent him for... Maybe he does think he was a big deal.
I think he can go to the back of the line for that, because, like, I don't think you photographing him is going to do Jimin any favors.
True.
Because, like...
Maybe cast him in the movie, though.
Anybody can photograph him for anything. Because all you have to do is take 1,000 photo frames of it, and then you got a good photograph. Because he's already, like, hot. So, like, how much do you have to do? There's nothing you have to do.
Well, I mean, I don't resent him for wanting to photograph him. That's fine to me. But I do think there's something up with his desire to do that.
Don't you think? Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
what
Gus Van Sant? Like, what? Why are you mentioning a K-pop
What was the last
group?
movie he even made?
I don't even know. I don't keep track.
Because Good Will Hunting and the Psycho remake, those are all in the 90s.
Yeah, I didn't look in his IMDb of what like the last thing he did, but that's like...
I don't like any of his movies.
He does more like dialogue movies where it's like, it's more about writing. It's like, oh, people said this and that, and it's like, it's not about directing, it's more about writing. So I don't think he's like all that. So
I don't think he's a good director. I never liked him.
Yeah, I don't either.
And it's not because of this.
And my issue is like, okay, a lot of people on Twitter were like, oh my God, oh, that's so cool. Gus Van Sant wants to photograph Jimin. Let's let him do it. It's like, no, because who cares? Some person in Hollywood says something. You don't have to listen to that. There's
yeah, true. I mean, I don't think Jimin will get anything out of it.
This guy's a movie director. Like, what is the point of him being photographed?
Yeah, if you could cast him in the movie, that'd be one thing.
He's not putting Jimin in a movie.
Right, and what was the last movie he made? I don't think he's even relevant as a movie director anymore. Is he even relevant as a movie director? He makes really weird esoteric movies, honestly. Did he make like some Nicole Kidman movies that were really upsetting? I think he did. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember. But he does mostly like dialogue movies or like actor type movies, and it's like, okay, Jimin's not an actor. Jimin doesn't even like speak that much English, so I don't know what you think you're gonna get out of photographing Jimin. You just want to take pictures of them. So it just, to me, it seems like, oh, I want to meet Jimin. It's like, well, I want to meet Jimin. Morgan wants to meet Jimin. Anybody wants to meet Jimin.
I don't want to meet Jimin.
Well, why should anybody be behind Gus Van Sant? Because he's like a Hollywood director.
Okay, he's 67. Okay. Let's check his filmography.
Okay. Look at his IMDb.
Yep, Good Will Hunting, and then Psycho. Terrible Psycho.
Psycho was bad.
Finding Forrester. Oh, terrible.
Okay, that was
Milk.
bad.
Oh God, Milk.
Okay, Milk. I didn't see that, so I don't want to say.
His last film was
but
in 2018. It was called "Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot." Okay, it's terrible. Like he hasn't done anything relevant
it's like
since 2000.
Downhill since
2000.
Good Will Hunting.
Basically, as soon as he made Psycho, people realized he's not a good director.
Yeah, I mean because that wasn't good.
Right. Like he made some indie picks like My Own Private Idaho, and they said, "Oh, maybe you should make another indie pick, Good Will Hunting," which is mainly just on the strength of Matt Damon's script.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the director. I could have directed that.
No.
I could have been the director of Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting was Matt Damon's writing. It wasn't like anything else. Okay, Matt Damon's acting maybe, but
maybe.
It also had
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, yeah, his acting was good.
People like Robin Williams.
Yes, he was good.
I wouldn't say his acting was good.
He was okay.
He just played the same character.
I don't know if it was Oscar winning worthy, but he was good.
He just played the same old Robin Williams.
Ben Affleck was also.
And Ben Affleck came in to claim that he co-wrote it.
He took a lot of credit.
Which we all know didn't happen. This is really like old news.
This is old news, but
this it's stuff
relevant.
That needs to be said. Ben Affleck is a fraud.
Yes.
What happened, kids, is that he won an Oscar with Matt Damon for writing this old movie called Good Will Hunting, and we all know that he didn't. We all know Matt Damon did all the work.
Please,
we don't know it.
No, we know. Spill the tea because
but we know it. I mean, like, just think about it.
Yes.
Out of the two of those guys, which one knows how to write anything? Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon.
They were just friends.
And Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Friends from Boston.
And then Matt Damon said, "Okay, we'll work on something." You know how
we'll do a script.
You know how you often you're just bullshitting with friends, and you say, "Hey, let's do this thing together. Let's do this thing. Let's do whatever the thing is."
Yeah.
And then oftentimes you guys are full of it, so you don't ever even follow through. You don't do it. But if you do it, let's be real. Oftentimes, is one person doing all the work.
Yes.
One person has all the talent. One person does all the work. If it ever actually gets done, it's probably mostly due to one person. That's what happened here.
Yes.
That's what happened here. I'm sure of it.
We know.
Just like a school project. It's never evenly balanced out. One person or a few people, they did all the work. That's Matt Damon. Ben Affleck didn't do anything.
Yeah. That was Good Will Hunting. Was mostly Matt Damon, a little bit of Ben Affleck.
Right.
I don't know if
you know how I know?
Younger people don't know that. So
because he's dumb.
We're telling you the truth right now.
Don't believe me, just look at how bad his Batman was.
No, we know. It's like, look at any script writing. Like, they didn't even do any script writing after that. And after that, it was just acting.
Well, did Ben Affleck write some of Argo?
Maybe.
No, he didn't.
I don't know.
Let's just say
I don't know.
Let's just say no. He claims to have directed it. It wasn't even a well-directed film. We won't go into this. This is not a movie podcast. But anyway, bottom line, Ben Affleck sucks.
Ben Affleck is pretty much a fraud.
He's a fraud.
He's super overrated.
Yeah.
A lot of what he's known for is really Matt Damon's credit. That's what you should know if you were born like, around 2000
Batman.
or whatever.
Yes.
If you were one of the younger folks, maybe you don't know this, but Ben Affleck sucks and he doesn't have a lot of talent. A lot of it is from Matt Damon, who wrote and did things early on.
Just trust.
Yeah. They're best friends. They did stuff together.
I don't know if
they
they're
were
best
in
friends,
Boston.
But
Yeah.
They know each other from Boston.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Gus Van Sant. He's not a great director. He just directed this film. It was mostly Matt Damon's script. And, I respect Matt Damon. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. Matt Damon.
Gus Van Sant is not that great of a director.
Matt Damon, he might be a scumbag as a person. I'm not 100% sure.
How is he a scumbag?
He possibly could be. I'm not sure. But
why? What did he do? Did he have a Me Too? No.
Maybe.
No, he didn't. Really? Anyway, whatever. Most Hollywood people have had a Me Too.
He knew Harvey Weinstein, didn't say anything. That's part of it.
Yeah.
There's other stuff. I mean, I understand people don't say anything, but there's like...
You know how many people knew Harvey Weinstein didn't say anything, though? Lots of people.
There's a lot of people.
Lots of people. I don't
they
blame
can all
them.
share the credit for that. of not saying anything.
I'm not gonna blame them because you know what? If I were in their shoes, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just said, "This is how Hollywood works." I'm sorry, that's the reality. But
Matt Damon is one of those people who's like.
That's true, but then he does go out and he advocates for these more progressive issues.
He claims to be very
progressive in these issues, and then he turned a blind eye for his own benefit.
People he personally knows, he doesn't say anything about.
Right. And I, on the one hand, I don't blame him because you got to look out for number one.
I agree. Right?
You have to worry about your own. At the same time, if I was Hollywood, I was a famous actor, I was looking out for number one, which is what I would be doing. I wouldn't put myself out there as some sort of moral authority on anything.
Yeah.
Because in the back of my head, I would know, hey, Morgan, you're not a moral authority because look at all the stuff that you've seen and you just sort of let slide. So I don't think this makes you an evil person because we all make compromises to get where we want to get, and right or wrong, this is all kind of a gray area. If you didn't yourself commit these transgressions, it's a gray area. You're not necessarily in the wrong, but at the same time, please don't put yourself out in front as the moral authority about any issue because you're not clean. I would know that in my heart and in the back of my head I would say, oh, I'm not clean. I don't think I'm going to be talking on any of these issues because I've seen some stuff. I've seen some stuff. Yeah. I've worked with Harvey Weinstein. I've seen some stuff. And so I'm just going to be quiet about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're right. Matt Damon wasn't quiet about that, so he deserves to be held accountable for being a hypocrite. Because if you're going to put yourself if you're going to ever say anything about, the Me Too movement and this and that, and try to be any sort of moral authority on anything, and yet you have stuff in your past that contradicts that, well, you deserve to be called out on it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is a super, super tangent, but Gus Van Sant is probably sexually attracted to Jimin, okay? He's not relevant as a director or anything anymore, so don't let him photograph anybody. Who cares? Don't let him photograph anybody.
Yeah, that was my problem.
I'm not going to help anybody.
That was my problem is I don't feel like he's a genuine fan of BTS or what they're doing. I don't think he has an interest in K-pop or anything. He's just like, he saw a picture of Jimin and he's like, oh, that guy's hot. I want to photograph him. It's like, you're not any more privileged than anyone else. You don't need to be at the front of the line just because you're a Hollywood director. Like, we don't care what you say.
I mean, I don't think that he should be in the front of the line because he's a Hollywood director, but he doesn't have to get in the back of the line necessarily. Okay.
But I feel like him saying in an interview is like, oh, you think you're somebody? You're Hollywood. You think you should be.
I didn't
this
get that
should be
all.
like.
I mean, people asked him a question, he answered it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. That's fine. I think that's fine. I do think there's some sort of, sexual undertone going on, but
I do think there is because, like, you can't look at Hollywood anymore and think, this is like stars. They're just elevating people that deserve it. It's like, it's a lot of like perverts. It's like people who are like, oh, I'm attracted to this person. That's why they should be a star. A lot of directors are just very inappropriate and very producers are like, oh, let me just try to take advantage of like young, attractive actors and actresses. And you can't really think anything's genuine anymore. It's like horrible. It's like you can't.
Bottom line, we can't assume. That's a lot to assume about Gus Van Sant.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but in general, I just feel like it's hard to take anyone's word at face value.
What I can say is that he's not exactly a relevant director anymore, so there's not much to be gained by doing a quote-unquote photo shoot with him. I do suspect that maybe he just likes Jimin. I don't think that he has to get in the back of the line just because he's whatever. He doesn't have to get behind you.
That's my opinion. He needs to be behind me with my iPhone.
So. You're a terrible photographer. You're not a photographer at all.
No, you know what? I learned from America's Next Top Model. You just take enough frames and
not exactly
you're
true.
a good photographer.
Well, whatever if that's what you learn, that's not exactly true. There's other things that go into it, but I'm not gonna say for sure that it's a sexual thing. But I will say there's not a lot to be gained from doing a photo shoot with Gus Van Sant. He's not that relevant anymore. Mm-hmm. I looked him up. I looked up his filmography. Since Good Will Hunting and Psycho, he's really done nothing. I'm shocked that I even remember his name. That's a credit to my memory.
He did that movie with like Michael Douglas was like a teacher. I don't remember the name of that one, but that was a.
No, that's incorrect.
Okay.
That was the director of 8 Mile and LA Confidential.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, what was his name? He's dead. But I know what you're talking about. Wonder Boys.
Oh yeah, Wonder Boys. Oh,
Curtis Hanson. Curtis Hanson.
Curtis Hanson. He died?
He died at least 4 or 5 years ago. Wow. Maybe 8.
I didn't know that.
Maybe 8. He was a great director too. He directed 8 Mile. He directed LA Confidential, Wonder Boys, which is not a great film.
Okay. Well, that's sad. I didn't know that.
At least 8 years ago, he died. He directed Wonder Boys, 8 Mile, LA Confidential, one of my favorite films ever. Curtis Hanson. How could you confuse Gus Van Sant with Curtis? Oh, that's terrible. They're not even close to being the same.
I just forget who directs what and who produced what. You know, it's like a lot of...
They're not even close to being the same type of thing, though. Yeah. Well, maybe the Michael Douglas film. Anyway, for people who are listening, don't watch that film. It's terrible. Do watch 8 Mile. Great film. Has Eminem in it. Do watch LA Confidential.
LA Confidential.
Don't watch...
Yes, that was really good.
Good Will Hunting, even though you've probably already seen it.
Yeah.
Don't watch the Psycho remake.
No, don't watch that.
Never would have.
Just watch the original, and then that's good.
You know what? I don't even.
Do you think the original is overrated?
Yes, I do. And
Alfred Hitchcock.
This is not the place to talk about it. Okay. But I think Hitchcock is overrated.
It's not a movie podcast, but go ahead.
I think Hitchcock is overrated. I think that he did important things.
He's very good, and he is known for many things, but maybe certain movies he's like a little too known for.
It hasn't aged well, a lot of his films. Mm-hmm. So I think modern audiences won't get a lot out of it. I think for modern audiences, the only film that you could watch where you'd be genuinely entertained would be Rear Window. Rear Window and Vertigo is good. No, I don't think modern audiences would love Vertigo. Okay. I think Rear Window is definitely timeless. The other things, no. And the things that Psycho did for cinema, I just don't think people appreciate. Just like people don't appreciate Citizen Kane because it did pointless, mundane stuff. Like, oh, we have ceilings in the shots. Well, who cares? Plenty of films have had ceilings in shots. Mm-hmm. That doesn't matter. It's like there's certain technical aspects of Citizen Kane that are groundbreaking, but they were groundbreaking 90 years. Oh wow, no 80. Anyway, it doesn't matter to a current audience because they've seen it. Doesn't matter. Only if you are some sort of film buff or historian. Yeah. Or if you're studying it. It's not entertaining though. But Rear Window is still pretty entertaining, even for a modern audience. Yeah. And so Hitchcock is not a great director for a modern audience. And certainly not the shot-for-shot remake that is pointless. No. Yeah, there's no reason to do a remake that's exactly the same. No. Anyway, that was a weird story. Didn't expect that. Gus Van Sant has a thing for Jimin, apparently. Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a genuine thing or... You know, like, his name has come up in a lot of blind items. Like, he might be one of those, like, whose name? Directors. Gus Van Sant. He might be one of those weirdo directors who's just like, you know. If it's blind, then why is his name coming up? Because that's what people are guessing based on the item. They think it might be him, but there's other directors. There's a lot of, like... You're guessing him? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of Predators out there. There's Bryan Singer. He's... known for a fact, and then there's others that are similar to that that aren't out there yet, but there's people like that. So I don't know if he's one of those or not, but I've seen his name come up, so it's like
I'm really hesitant as like, oh, I saw a lot on Twitter, like people are like, oh, that's so great. This Hollywood director like wants to photograph Jimin. Let's see that. And it's like, no, I don't want to see that because I don't know what his motives
you think
are.
He's a predator.
Yeah, I don't trust Gus Van Sant. Like, who's he? Like, what's gonna happen? And you know what? It's like BTS has plenty of photographs of them of other photographers from Korea and wherever. It's like you don't need to be Gus Van Sant. There's other people. There's plenty of people. There's nothing you can do that's better than all the people that have photographed them. And it's like they don't need you to make a great photo. They're already like photogenic. So
right, exactly.
There's nothing that you're gonna do that's special. It's just a fact of like, can Gus Van Sant meet BTS? And it's like, no, I don't care to see that. So I don't think he deserves that just because he said that in an interview. And I'm just surprised that so many people are like, oh yeah, that's so great. Let's see that. It's like, no, we don't know what he's all about. He could be like not have good motives. So that's all I'm saying.
He is a sexual predator, Liam.
There could be, yeah. Thank you to our guest today, Morgan. You can find BTS Happy Hour on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and Podbean. New episodes are up on Monday. Thumbs up, leave a review. Follow me on Twitter at OurBTS. That's at HOURBTS. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.